Hi, this is Damon, Dungeon Master and creator of Pawns&Players. P&P is a role-playing game much akin to the likes of Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder, with some differences here and there in terms of gameplay mechanics. But we've been playing this game for about a year, playing maybe once or twice a month, and we are only just now deciding to do a podcast, so this is Session 0, in case if you want to listen, but you want to understand all the exposition and what's going on and why they're doing what they're doing. So, here is a summary of Pawns&Players. Our adventure begins in Imperadil, homeland to the High Elves, specifically on an island north of the mainland. On this island is the Vadis Academy, a prestigious school where elven folk study magic. Our heroes consist of Faradir Erethil, a noble high elf alchemist, her roommate Sedara Rain, a half-elf ranger studying elemental magic, as well as Layla, a human thief that's on the lam and kind of just chilling out in the dormitory. A fairy enters the room in a state of distress. Her name is Wanda, and she is the guardian fairy of a boy named Han, and Han has gone missing. Han was exploring an abandoned mine on the island, and there was a collapse. Three entered the mine to save the boy, and they're surprised to find the mine actually turns into an actual dungeon, full of goblins, of course. I mean, we're not surprised, it's a role-playing game. But they fight their way through the goblins and rescue Han, but his wounds are too severe for him to be saved. Before he dies, he hands Faradir a mystical horn, and warns her, "Do not let this horn fall into the wrong hands, for it will bring about the entire world's destruction." Han dies, they carry him out of the mine, and they are met by a huge crowd of people. There is the headmaster, Cesaro, who's trying his best to keep everybody calm. There's Rucius Rex, a professor, who asks them, "What are you doing? Do you even know what's down there?" They say, yeah, we found goblins. And Rex is like, "Wait, what goblins? You're serious?" He calls over another professor, Cassius Malarin, and says, "We need some temple knights down here to come clean this mess up." Faradir spends the next couple of nights studying and she reads about this structure called the Omega Stones, a Stonehenge-like place located in the old forest of Albion, where under certain stars and under a certain phase of the moon, the stones come alive and glow and will answer any three questions with a prophecy. The date that this phenomenon is set to happen is actually only a few days from now. Faradir says, that sounds like an interesting piece of foreshadowing. Faradir boards a ship and goes home to Naples, her hometown. While she's in her hometown, she comes across Zaya, a half-elf warrior sent by Princess Akamus to protect her from a possible assassination attempt that Akamus kind of caught wind of. Akamus is Lord Theseus' daughter and the older sister to Han, the boy who died, you remember. Faradir meets up with her cousin Fredger, because it's his birthday. Fredger says to Faradir, "Hey, you've been talking to Akamus, right? The Lord Athenwood's daughter?" Somehow he just knows that, which is creepy. "Yeah, listen, I want to marry her. Do you think you can make that happen?" He's clearly drunk and creepy, so Faradir says, "Hell no, that's my friend," and they leave. The two of them, Faradir and Zaya, and their doggos, decide to head to the Omega Stones and ask some questions and get some answers. When Faradir reaches the Omega Stones, there's already a host of men there who have also come to collect a prophecy. Most notably is Bethad the Bloody, a Jarl of Caledonia and a revered war hero. With him is also Ragnar Stormlord. There's also a few unimportant soldiers wearing red shirts. Faradir and Bethad, both seeking a prophecy, come to an agreement. Bethad goes first. He touches a stone, whispers a question that nobody else hears. One of the stones speaks, delivering this prophecy. "The Jarl of Glamis, Bethad, comes forth. All hail Bethad, High King of the North. Long live Bethad, and look to the skies. No man, woman born, shall bring your demise. After lightning flashes comes the roll of thunder. A hero to reforge, a kingdom laid asunder." Bethad is very pleased to hear this. Faradir then receives her prophecy, asking about this mysterious horn that she's carrying. "The earth will tremble at the call of the horn, as beast, bird, and whale shall be reborn. Colossal fiends ushering the doom, only to return with the horns thrice Thume. After talking to Bethad for a bit, it appears that Caledonia has also been plagued with goblin attacks. So they all agree to ask, who is the Goblin King? Goblins in this mythos are a creation born from a semi-necromantic ritual. A necromancer takes a corpse, usually something small like a dwarf or a halfling because it just works easier. They then take the soul of a living being, the larger and more powerful the soul, the better, and splits the soul into thousands of tiny pieces. Those tiny fragments are then imbued into the corpses that they found, and with a little bit of blood magic, these corpses grow living tissue and etc., and are born again as goblins, these deformed, small, just awful creatures. They still possess a tiny fraction of a soul, therefore they are not considered undead, and also possess a tiny fraction of a personality, but not really, because it's small and they're goblins. So with a powerful enough soul, and with a lot of spare dead bodies lying around, one could easily create an army of goblins by themselves. Anyway, here's the prophecy. Fallen from grace, now he walks in disguise. Betrayed and forgotten, he soon shall rise. When August ends, he brings the fall, and with black fire consumes one and all. So yeah, pretty impressive rhyming. They're not sure what to make of this, but they decide to journey north to Caledonia, so Faradir can get a ride home. They travel through the ice cavern, which leads them to Frostfall Temple. Within the temple, they encounter a creature that was believed to be extinct for hundreds of years. A dragon! Specifically, a white dragon. With its icy breath, it kills all of the red shirt soldiers while the important characters flee to safety. They reach the city of Cawdor. Several Jarls and Thanes have a moot, where they discuss how the High King Duncan has been just sucking at his job, basically. Bandits and goblins are terrorizing the small folk. Meanwhile, he gets drunk on elven wine and throws these lavish parties, wasting a bunch of money. It's kind of like a Robert Baratheon situation, but worse because this guy actually has shit he needs to take care of. Jarl Banquo, the loyalist to the king, says, "Hey, so our king is kind of lazy, but that doesn't mean we can't step up and do our part to rid the kingdom of all this evil, right?" But Bethad says, "No. This is a Hang on, let me fix that voice. Bethad says, "No. This is a matter of principle. We need to show our people that this is not how the North handles this." Several others agree, and they start suggesting that they elect a new king from amongst them, but Bethad says, "There is no need for a violent uprising. We need to stand united. I will have the king meet me at my castle. Get him away from all those elven ambassadors that are whispering things in his ears. And I will talk to him. I will tell him he either needs to change his ways or step down as High King." Shakespeare enthusiasts may have some idea of where this is headed. Faradir realizes that her stepmother, Gala, is most likely one of the ambassadors that they're talking about. Faradir catches a ride home on a ship into Naples. Her cousin, Fredger, that guy, meets with her again and again persists that Faradir helps him arrange a marriage between him and Akamus. Look, I know that her and I don't know each other, but see, I'm trying to end the fighting between the High Elves and the Wood Elves, you know? I'm just trying to save lives. We need to unite Athenwood with Imperadil, and this marriage is gonna do just that. Faradir says no, and he says, "Alright man, but you'll be sorry." Faradir takes out her alchemy set and whips up a truth serum potion and pours some of it into a cup of tea. Gala drinks the truth serum and spills her guts. She admits that she's an ambassador of Caledonia and that she is part of an organization called the Vadis Oculatus, who is essentially trying to convert the entire known world to their faith, the faith of the Six. One of their goals is to weaken Caledonia by getting the High King drunk and addicted to moon wine, and then they're going to beset an army of goblins upon them. The Goblin King is also a member of this organization, but Gala doesn't exactly know who it is. She's never met them. All she knows is that he's a professor at the Vadis Academy. Faradir says, alright, let's go back to the academy. She forms a ragtag team of adventurers, one of them notably is Pizza. Pizza, the Wood Elf Druid and former Temple Crusader. Pizza becomes a member of the Guardians of Gaia, a resistance group fighting against the Temple of the Six, trying to drive them out and win back Wood Elf independence. The resistance is secretly led by Akamis. So Faradir and Pizza enter the academy and look for clues. Find notes in her father's laboratory that says Faratar actually managed to capture a goblin from the dungeon beneath the school and extract a soul from within him with this machine he created. And the soul actually resembled the headmaster. So they go to the headmaster's chambers. While outside the room, they hear three voices. One of them belongs to Faratar, Faradir's father, one of them belonging to the headmaster, and a third unknown voice. They hear an argument, followed by the sound of smashing glass. They rush in. The headmaster has been thrown out the window to his death, and Faradir's father is unconscious and suspended in the air. The third man was Rucius Rex, the professor I briefly mentioned in the beginning of the video, and a bunch of temple knights enter the room. He says, "I have apprehended the man who has murdered the headmaster. Take him to the capital to await the high priest's judgment." They take him. Faradir attempts to rescue her father, but is unable to save him before the temple knights teleport away. Pizza engages Rex in combat and seemingly kills him, but just as it appears he's about to die, his soul bursts from his chest in the form of a flaming black phoenix, and he flies out the window. Faradir breaks into Rucius Rex's office and finds a journal, his grandfather's journal. According to the journal, it appears that the Rex family, whose sigil is a black phoenix, was loyal to the late Emperor Tyror, who founded the Vadis Oculatus Society, attempting to convert the entire world to their religion in order to establish High Elven supremacy. So yeah, racism. After Tyror was executed and his dynasty replaced by the Augustus dynasty, the Rex family went into hiding in the ruins of Alexandria. It appears Rucius's grandfather discovered a tear in the fabric of reality, no doubt caused by a meteor that destroyed Alexandria thousands of years ago. He was attempting to use this tear to access another dimension in order to accrue some form of dark power in hopes to complete Tyror's work. Faradir assumes this is where she needs to go, so her and Pizza set off on another adventure to stop Rucius Rex. They stop in the capital city, Terra Sancta, on the way, where Faratar is awaiting his trial. Faradir offers to fight for him in a trial by combat. She battles against the headmaster's younger brother, and in front of a large crowd, just brutally kills him. This is actually the first time she's ever killed anyone. So, at this point, a bunch of new adventurers join the party. Sidara and Layla from the very beginning, they're back now. Also, Karan, the half-elf druid, and Gerald, the human monk. They've gotten themselves swept up in this mission, and they all agree to work together to stop Rucius and whatever dark thing he's planning. They meet up in a house that the Arathil family owns, and as they're about to depart, a bunch of temple knights show up. They bring word that the Lord of Naples is dead, and now, Fredger is the Lord of Naples, and they demand that Faradir come home immediately. They rightfully assume that this is a trap, and they engage in a battle. Faratar drinks a potion and turns into this large purple Hulk, allowing them a chance to escape. As of now, Faradir does not know what became of her father after this battle. They escape the city through the sewers and end up in the mountains. Layla manages to capture a young half-orc teenager named Hankus. They travel through an underground tunnel that Hankus points out to them. They currently stand before the Library of Alexandria, a giant golden pyramid several stories high, looking for the tear in the fabric of reality in hopes to locate Rucius Rex and stop him from whatever dastardly world-conquering plan he's scheming. Who knows what they'll actually find inside.